Hello friends, welcome back to the online classes. We were going through lesson number 2, January night, and half of the lesson we had finished last time, and in that we had seen that how Halku was having trouble in January night because he did not have any blanket. By doing very hard work, he had saved with much difficulty 3 rupees, and that also he had to give away to the landlord because the rent of his field he had to give to the landlord. Now, after giving this, Halku was very much depressed. I mean, he was not having anything to protect himself from the this January night. Munni, his wife, was not ready to give, and but when she found that her husband has to be insulted, her husband would be insulted in front of other people, so she had to give it away and to promised him that he will never do any tenant farming. He will leave it and go for daily laborer. The scene was over there. The second scene started in the field where Halku is lying down on the coat and under his with the what you call torn apart an old shawl and shivering. He was shivering because it was January night. Under his coat there was his pet dog Jabra, who also was shivering. And Halku make fun of him, saying that that he had told him not to come stay at home, but Jabra thought that his master Halku is going to enjoy a party, to have some sweets and samosas and laddus and all. That's why he came. But then he says, "Don't worry, Jabra. Anyhow, manage this night. Tomorrow I'll put some straw here and you can have sleep here." So up to here we had finished the chapter. So let us continue. Page number 28, last paragraph. Halku lay down like some kind of witch. The cold weather continued to torment him. When he could no longer bear it, he gently picked Jabra up and got him to fall asleep in his lap. The dog's body gave off some kind of stink, but Halku, hugging him tight, experienced a happiness he hadn't felt for months. Jabra probably thought he was in heaven, and in Halku's innocent heart there was no resentment of his smell. He embraced him with the very same affection he would have felt for a brother. He was not crippled by poverty yet. Rather, it was as though this singular friendship had opened all the doors to his heart and brilliantly illuminated every atom of it. Now, Halku was laying down, but the weather was bad. It was January night and cold breeze was going on, blowing. Again, he felt very cold. He could not bear it up now. So he took Halku and held him tightly with his body. Okay, he just took Halku and took him, put him in his lap and held it very tightly to his body. Now, even though Halku was stinking like anything, he was smelling. Jabra was smelling like anything, but Halku did not mind. He just could held him tightly to his body. Now, when two bodies come together, holding each other, so the heat comes up. So the little relief we get from the cold. So that's what Halku wanted for a while, because the breeze was blowing and he was feeling very cold. So he just took Jabra in his arm and he made him sit with him tightly, and he was getting some warmth of the Jabra's body. Even though Jabra was stinking like anything, Halku was holding Jabra just like a brother, okay, as if his own brother was suffering from cold and he was just giving him warmth by holding him tightly to his chest. Whereas Jabra, for him, it looked like as if he was in seventh heaven. For him, as if the angels had come around him and giving him warmth. That feeling Jabra was having. And he just sat there as if there was nothing happening there. Suddenly Jabra picked up the noise of some animal. Springing up, he ran out of the shelter and began to bark. Halku whistled and called him several times, but Jabra went on barking. Now, suddenly Jabra heard some noise, some voice coming from the other side of the field. He just jumped out of Halku's lap and ran towards the field. Halku tried to call him, he whistled in, but Jabra did not come. He was just standing and going on, barking, looking towards the field. So this was the second part of the story. The third part we'll see. Another hour passed. The night fanned up the coal with the wind. Halku sat up. It seemed as though ice rather than blood filled his veins. He leaned back to look at the skies. How much of the night was still left? The dipper had not yet climbed half the sky. By the time it was overhead, it would probably be morning. Night would last another 3 hours or so. Now, he saw that another hour passed, one more hour passed, but still plenty of night was there. He just looked in the sky and found that stars are still twinkling, stars are still there, nothing has come up. So he understood by that still a lot of night is remaining, and he has to suffer in this cold. The breeze was still blowing, he was still shivering like anything. Close to Halku's field, there was a mango grove. Halku thought, if I go and get a pile of leaves, I can make a fire of them and keep warm. If anybody sees me gathering the leaves in the dead of night, they will think it is a ghost. Of course, there is a chance some animals hidden in my field waiting, but I can't stand sitting here any longer. Now, near Halku's field, there was a mango grove. Okay, the mango grove was there, mango garden was there, and the leaves, the dry leaves were, a lot of dry leaves were there. Now, middle of the night, he was little frightened to go because he knows that some animal, if any wild animal is hiding in his field, it may attack him. But he could not survive because it was very, very cold. He was shivering, and only chance was to go to the mango grove, collect the leaves, have little fire, and sit beside the fire and get some warmth to protect himself from the this cold. Now, as he was trying to go, he understood that if anybody sees him collecting these mango leaves, they may think that some ghost is walking around in the mango grove. He ripped up some stalks from a nearby field, made a broom out of them, and picking up a lighted cow dung cake, went towards the grove. Jabra watched him coming and ran to him, wagging his tail. So he just immediately broke some branches and made it as a broom, and taking the cow dung. Cow dung is what? गोबर. जो गोबर का जो बनाते हैं ये लोग ना गांव वाले जो आग जलाने के लिए. So that was there burning. He took it and started walking towards the mango grove. Now Jabra saw him coming towards him. He also came running towards him, wagging his tail. Halku said, I couldn't stand it anymore, Jabra. Come along, let's go into the orchard and gather leaves to warm up with. When we are toasted, we'll come back and sleep. Under the trees, it was pitch dark. The bitter wind blew, buffeting the leaves, and drops of dew dripped from the branches. Now, he just called Jabra, come on Jabra, let us go to the mango grove and collect some leaves and burn it and get some warmth. And once we are toasted, means once we are got enough warmth, we'll come back and have a sleep. And they went to the mango grove. When they entered the mango grove, it was pitch dark. There was no light was falling. It was pitch dark. Nothing could be seen. That much dark it was there in the mango grove. Anyhow, he just reached there and found even he could not see the branches because of the darkness. Jabra had found a bone and he was chewing on it. Halku set his fire down on the ground and began to gather the leaves. In a little while, he had a great heap. His hands were frozen, his bare feet numbed, but he piled up a regular mountain of the leaves, and by making a fire out of them, he would burn away the cold. Now, Jabra, after reaching to the mango grove, he found some old bone there and started chewing it. Halku put that fire cover down and started sweeping the ground, collecting these leaves, dry leaves together. Within no time, he collected a huge amount of dry leaves. But doing this, his hand and his leg became numb. It became very, very cold. He could not even bend his fingers. That much cold it was, and that much it became numb. He knew that once the fire is there, everything will be all right. He can kill the cold by this fire. In a little while, the fire was burning branches. In the flickering light, the immense trees of the grove looked as though they were carrying the vast darkness on their heads. Now, within no time, he burned the fire, and it was a huge fire, and the whole mango grove lit like anything. It looked like as if the fire was carrying the darkness on their head. So just looking, like that, the fire beneath burning, and above there was darkness. Nothing could be seen. That much darkness was there in the mango grove, and the fire was there. Halku sat before the fire and let it warm him. After a while, he took off his shawl. Then he spread out both feet as though challenging the cold to do its worst. Victorious over the immense power of the winter, he could not repress his pride in his triumph. He said to Jabra, "Well, Jabra, you are not cold now, are you?" Jabra barked as though to say, "How would I feel cold now?" So Halku sat before the fire. He just sat before the fire and he was feeling like anything. He even challenged the cold by removing his shawl, showing his leg to the cold. Now come on and catch me now if you can. But since the fire was there, and even he asked Jabra, now are you feeling cold? Jabra barked as if to say, now the cold cannot touch me, it cannot dare to come and touch me. That much I am feeling so well now. The leaves were all burned up. Darkness covered the orchard again. Under the ashes, a few embers smoldered, and when a gust of wind blew over them, they stirred up briefly, then flickered out again. Halku sat by the warm ashes, humming a tune. The fire had warmed him through, but as the cold began to spread, he felt drowsy. Now, the leaves all were burned up. The whole lot of leaves, whatever he had collected, had burned up, and now nothing was there, only ashes were there. But between the ashes, there was still a little fire was there. Whenever this cold breeze would blow, the fire would come up, flickers, it will burn sometimes and then flicker away. And Halku was feeling a bit warmth now, so he was just singing a song, a tune, and once again, the cold slowly and slowly started spreading its wind slowly, and he started feeling drowsiness. Jabra gave a loud bark and ran towards the field. Halku realized that this meant a pack of wild animals had probably broken into the field. They might be blue buck. They must be grazing. He began to hear the sound of nibbling. Now suddenly, as he was feeling sleepy, Halku, Jabra heard once again some noise and started barking and ran towards the field. Halku did not want to get up because he just got warmth and he was feeling sleepy. But he could understand that the wild bucks might have come inside his field and they started eating the field slowly because he could hear their nibbling. He thought, no, with Jabra around, no animal can get into the field. He would rip it to shreds. I must have been mistaken. Now there is no sound at all. He shouted, Jabra, Jabra. Jabra went on barking and did not come to him. So Halku thought, since Jabra is there, no wild animal can come near the field. All will run away, and no one can dare to fight with Jabra. After some time, when he did not hear any noise, any voice or anything from the field, he understood that Jabra might have mistaken. There may not be anybody, and he called to Jabra. But Jabra went on barking and ran away again. He did not come back. Then again there was the sound of munching and crunching in the field. He could not have been mistaken this time. It really hurt to think of getting up from where he was. It was so comfortable there. It seemed intolerable to go to the field in this cold and chase after animals. He didn't steer. He shouted, "Hello, hello, hello." Now, again he heard the sound of munching and crunching of the field, but he could not get up because the comfort that he had got after burning that huge lot of leaves, he did not want to get up and go in this cold and then to shiver again. Somehow he managed to get this warmth and sat there. Now he just sat there, and from there only shouted for to chase the animals which had come into the field. Jabra started barking again. There were animals eating his field just when the crop was ready. What a fine crop it was, and these cursed animals were destroying it. With a firm resolve, he got up and took a few steps, but suddenly a gust of wind pierced him with a sting like a scorpion's, such that he went back and sat again by the extinguished fire and stirred up the ashes to warm his chilled body. So Jabra started barking again. This time, somehow, he gathered some strength, got up from his comfort zone, took some few steps to chase the animal, because the harvest was almost ready, and coming days it would be cut, and he would have got a lot of money. He was happy that the harvest was very good this year, but these animals, these cursed animals, were coming and destroying it, so he could not bear it. So somehow he gathered some strength, got up from his place and walked. But suddenly the gust of wind, chilled wind, gathered him, covered him again, and he ran back to the ashes, stirred the ashes, got to get some warmth from it to get rid of the cold. Halku went on sitting peacefully near the warm ashes. His drowsiness held him motionless as though with ropes. Wrapped in his shawl, he fell asleep on the warmed ground near the ashes. So Halku went on stirring the ashes till he get warm. And after some time, he started feeling drowsy, started feeling sleepy. And covering his shawl, he just lay down near the warm ground, near the ashes, and went off to sleep. He just slept there. When he woke in the morning, the sun was high and Munni was saying, "Do you think you are going to sleep all day? You came out here and had a fine time while the whole field was being flattened." So when he woke up, it was half of the day. The sun was almost on his head, and Munni was standing there, and Munni was shouting that you came here to enjoy. You were simply, what do you think that you will sleep whole day? Come on, get up now. And you came to enjoy here, that you were enjoying here near the fire, and the whole field was flattened by the wild animals. Halku got up and said, "Then you have just come from the field?" "Yes, the whole field's ruined, and you could sleep like that. Why did you bother to put up the shelter anyway?" So Halku got up, and then he asked, "That means you are coming from the field side?" "Yes, of course, I am coming from that side. And not a single crop is standing. Everything is flattened by the wild animals. Then why did you make this shelter there? Why you want to come here? If you could not protect your field, why did you make all these things?" Halku sought an excuse. "I nearly died and just managed to get through the night, and you worry about your crop?" Then the two of them walked to the edge of their land. He looked. The whole field had been trampled. Munni's face was shadowed with grief, but Halku was content. So Halku sought an excuse. Halku found some excuse and said that you do not know how much cold it was. I was almost dying, but this ashes saved me. This fire saved me, protected me from the cold. Otherwise, I would have died. And you are worrying about the crop? What a woman you are. Anyhow, she did not say anything. They got up and they started walking towards their land and stood there and saw the flattened harvest. The harvest was fully gone, and Munni was feeling sad because Halku had worked day and night to have this harvest, but now it all became waste. It all ruined by these wild animals. Whereas Halku was a bit happy. He was a bit content that now he need not to work again in this field. He will leave this field and go. Munni said, Now you will have to hire yourself out to earn some money to pay off the rent and taxes. With a contented smile, Halku said, but I won't have to sleep nights out here in the cold. So Muni said, now you cannot work here. You have to hire yourself as a laborer and work. No, otherwise you cannot survive. Halku said, okay, I have no problem in that, but I am happy that I do not have to come to the field during the night hours. Night hours, I can be at home and have a peaceful sleep. I believe you might have understood the story. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe, have a nice day.